Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mission Report, the Nintendo News Show. This is episode number 33. My name is James, and today I only have actually four different things that I want to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is that Super Mario Sunshine has officially landed on Nintendo Switch Online, and this is pretty exciting for me. If you've been keeping up with me for a little while, you probably know that Super Mario Sunshine is one of my favorite games ever. Um, and I think I will probably be checking this out on Nintendo Switch Online just to see if there's any notable difference between that version and the 3D All Stars version. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And I did actually this morning on the Nintendo Today app, I saw that Nintendo has posted some helpful tips for those of you who are going to be checking out um, Super Mario Sunshine for the very first time. These I do think these hints are kind of basic, and then I have one that I want to throw in there at the end. But tip number one is you can recover damage by collecting coins. And I think collecting blue coins recovers two, if I think. Number two, you can prevent fall damage with a ground pound. So you hit L to ground pound, and no matter what height you are falling off of, unless you're like falling into like off a cliff or something, like in like off the map, if you hit L, you will do a ground pound and not take any fall damage. Number three, there is a special jump called the side somersault that you can do if you are. So if you want to jump up, let's say I want to jump towards you, I would turn around and then very quickly turn to face you and hit the jump button while you are turning so that you can jump, like kind of put your feet in the air, jump like feet first in the air. Um, that's the side somersault, which they recommend. And then there is the wall jump that they also talk about. And I feel like this one is actually pretty standard for Mario games. I don't think this is that crazy. Um, but the wall jump, you can also do it kind of like at an angle. So if you're jumping into like a corner, you can jump from one wall to the other wall and then end up going right exactly back the way you came, which is pretty cool. So the wall jump there is a little bit different. And then the one that I want to add that they didn't include is the spin jump. I think the spin jump is probably one of the most fun things to do in the game. And basically, you just run in a tiny circle and then jump, and then Mario will leap like super high in the air. Um, and it's fun to do it with the um you can do it with the hover nozzle if you need to make like a really long jump, and I also like to do it especially on some of the levels where you have to clean up a whole bunch of stuff. You can do it with the um normal spray nozzle too. What the heck is that nozzle called? I don't remember. Anyway, that's all for Super Mario Sunshine landing on Nintendo Switch Online. If you are checking that out, please let me know in the comments. Number two, and I actually wasn't going to include this one, but I actually think it's pretty interesting. The Donkey Kong Challenge event things that basically kind of look like Mario Maker style levels made by Nintendo that take place in various Donkey Kong games. Um, so that is what the Donkey Kong Challenge is. And the Donkey Kong Challenge is getting a physical reward for eligible participants. Basically, if you complete every single challenge, you can win you can receive a collectible 39 card set with cards inspired by Donkey Kong Bonanza and classic Donkey Kong. This is pretty cool. I love that Nintendo does these little physical rewards and stuff like this. And I am also curious how many people are going to do this. There's not a whole lot of people that are going to be eligible for this. So in order to be eligible, you need to be subscribed to Nintendo Switch Online, and then also to play the Donkey Kong Bonanza challenges, you need to also own Donkey Kong Bonanza, or you need to have access to Donkey Kong Bonanza, whether it's on a cartridge or whatever. Which also then means that I don't know if the rest of the challenges are available on Switch 1, but it means that for the Donkey Kong Bonanza challenges, you need to be at least on Switch 2. And so I'm kind of curious, in a couple ways. I'm curious what exactly these challenges require, how difficult are they really, and how many people are really going to be able to do all of them. But apparently, anybody who finishes all the challenges and is eligible to redeem this 39 card set will get an email from Nintendo sometime in October. So that's pretty cool. And I want to say that I'll check this out. I think I might watch some of it on YouTube. I really doubt that I will have the skill to beat every challenge, though. So, oh well. Oh, excuse me. All right, number 3, we've got some brand new additions to Nintendo Music. Up first is Super Mario Sunshine. Tracks from the classic game are being added to the service. Those of you that don't know, Super Mario Sunshine was originally released on the GameCube in 2002, and then was re-released for Nintendo Switch in 2020 as a part of the 3D All-Stars collection. And then finally, just last week, or really this week, I guess, it came to Nintendo Switch 2 as a part of the GameCube collection on Nintendo Switch Online. Super Mario Sunshine, as far as tracks on Nintendo Switch Online, I don't know if all of these were just added, but as of right now, there are 58 tracks for a total of an hour and 34 minutes on there. So that's a good chunk of time. Anyway, let's oh yeah, more Nintendo music. There were also a couple playlists added to the Mario Kart World selection. Free Roam with Super Mario 3D World, which has 14 tracks for 37 minutes, and the Free Roam with Super Mario 3D Land, which has 4 tracks for 12 minutes. So go ahead and check those out. All right, and finally, it's time to talk about what I've been playing, and I've actually got 3 games. I only wrote down 2, but I've got 3 to talk about. The first one is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past that I've been replaying on Nintendo Switch Online. I haven't played a ton, but I have found the next dungeon. It's the one that's kind of in the dark world, in like the swampy area, in like the northwest section of the map, and it's kind of confusing, and I'm feeling kind of stuck. And I know that I need to basically find a key, and I will be able to use that key to unlock a door to be able to go and do more stuff, but I just don't know where to get the key right now. So I'm feeling a little bit stuck right there, but I really don't want to look anything up because I think, at least for me, in classic Zelda games, when I start looking things up, they stop being fun. So I'm not going to do that. I also finished Halo Campaign Evolved, and I don't remember if I talked about it last week, so I'll briefly give my impressions of the whole game right here. I enjoyed the game when I started it. The first couple missions, it was really cool to see like Halo 1, definitely the Halo game that I've played more than any of the other ones, in kind of with a new feel to it. You can sprint, you can aim a little bit better with your assault rifle. The early missions were pretty fun, and then I think the game peaked with the Silent Cartographer. And I was playing on the heroic difficulty, and the issue that I was having was that there were just so many enemies. And I'm certain that it wasn't like that in the original game. But there were so many enemies, and I felt like they had so much health on heroic too that it didn't seem right to me that you could get a headshot with a sniper on an elite and they wouldn't die. So enemy balancing and enemy damage and all these things kind of felt a little bit off. And when I got to the Silent Cartographer, that was probably the mission that was kind of the tipping point for me, where I was like, all right, I'm not going to be able to fight all 50 million of these enemies. Sorry, my computer just made a weird noise. I wonder if that came through. And so in the Silent Cartographer, basically, I decided that I'm just going to try to run past all of these enemies. And that worked for a lot of the Silent Cartographer. And then a little bit later in the game, I'm not really worried about spoiling, but I guess I'll be vague. When you discover like a new enemy type, I thought those sections were really good, but there were still a lot of sections where I felt like enemies were, you would come down like very narrow hallways, and you would kill everything throughout the hallway, and then you'd be in a room fighting, and then all of a sudden there were enemies coming from the hallway that you had just like cleared out. And so I didn't really like that either. Unfortunately, I think that anybody who plays this as their first time playing Halo 1, they're not going to see all the things that I see as somebody who's played Halo 1 a bunch. But I also think that they're not going to... I wouldn't be surprised if somebody plays this as a first Halo and doesn't really get what the hype is around Halo either. And so that's kind of disappointing. And I also feel like when I feel like replaying Halo 1 next time, I'm probably going to go back and play the Master Chief Collection, which I also think kind of feels crappy because like I really wanted to love this game and for it to be the definitive Halo 1, but it's not. Anyway, let's move on. The third game that I've been playing is Madden 2027, and this one's really nothing special. It's the same as every single Madden game, and I know some of you are gonna probably roll your eyes that I would even want to play and talk about Madden to begin with, but here we are. So I'm a huge football fan, and I do play Madden every single year in my NFL season pre-hype ritual, and it worked, and I am sufficiently hyped for the NFL season. Obviously, I played as the Dallas Cowboys, and we won the Super Bowl, and I am not expecting real life to go anything like that. And I think that's all that I have for today, guys. In the comment section, please let me know what you think of these items that I've discussed. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next mission.